Everyone assumes that I love cooking, you know, seeing as I wrote the international award-winning best-selling cookbook Shannon's Kitchen. But the truth is, I don't. I love eating. And the burden of making nutritious, wholesome meals every day can be a real ball ache because, like herpes, it's relentless. So I think it's time we channeled Johnny Farnham and took the pressure down.
Back in my day, kids were never chubby.
That's because in your day, Helen, they kept their weight down by passive smoking 78% of the day. Back in my day, children spent all day outside. Yes, that's because you locked the fucking door and told them they couldn't come home until the streetlights came on, Linda. Yes, well. Back in my day, kids didn't need to be slathered in SPF 100 every day. Well, Bronwyn, that explains why your 38-year-old son now looks like a scrotum. You're talking about Darren? I think he's quite handsome. Back in my day, my children did, as I said. Probably because you've smacked more bottoms than Christian Grey. I think you might be confusing fear with respect, Susan, you silly old shit. If you were mine, you wouldn't be able to sit down for a week. Smackety smack. Back in my day, the parks didn't have padding everywhere. Kids were tough back then. No, they weren't, Kathy. Your daughter fell off the slide and shattered her left femur, remember? You must remember, Kathy. She still has a significant limp. Hoi, Mum. Oh. Hello, sweet pea. Back in my day, kids had to eat every scrap on their plate. Well, it sucks to be them, Deborah, because your meat and 3 veg dinners of the 80s pale in comparison to this delicious dish. May I present to you Creamy Salmon from Shannon Does Dinner. The best thing about this recipe, besides the fact that it will give you the sprightliest set of nipple erections you've ever had, is it's really fucking basic. All you need is a punnet of cherry tomatoes, half a cup of cream, a couple of tablespoons of fresh basil, tablespoon of butter, 2 salmon fillets, some olive oil, and a couple of giant handfuls of baby spinach. Now, bear in mind, I have hands the size of fucking Sasquatch, so there is enough baby spinach in there to impress both Popeye and your bowels. So if you have tiny little baby hands, you might want to add an extra handful. Now anyway, let's make some creamy salmon. Oh, the wine has nothing to do with the recipe, it's just to make me less stabby. Get a fry pan over medium-high heat. Add in a drizzle of olive oil, and when it's hot, plonk in the salmon and cook for 2 minutes each side. Then remove the salmon and set aside. Then melt the butter in the pan. No need to wash the pan first. This is not a gigolo's dick. And add the cherry tomatoes. Then season the absolute fuck out of it with salt and pepper. Let the tomatoes cook for about 5 minutes, stirring every so often, and then add in the baby spinach and let it wilt. That should only take about a minute, like Mr. Shannon. Next, we're adding the cream and basil, but turn the heat down to low-medium first, or the cream will go feral. Gently simmer that brew for about 2 minutes and then put the salmon back in. All that's left to do now is serve it up with some mashed potato and some sautéed asparagus and pop on some fresh basil leaves for that on-trend MasterChef feel. Nailed it. It's dirty close-up time. The best time of all. For more easy recipes and complete drivel like this, visit shannonkellywhite.com.